All right, there we go. We look good there. Mm-hmm. All right, cool. That is awesome. All right, let's go. I am gonna go get a drink, and I will be right back. Jeff. Welcome to the show. Got a little bit of Coca Cola. Alright, let's check and see what's going over on. Okay. Okay. Alright, Michael Radcliffe. Welcome to the show. Jojo. Alright, thanks for coming. Wow. Looks like a nice day outside, but it's a little cloudy. Let me get my new microphone here. Yeah, I got a new microphone. Had to change out a few things. I better reposition that flag. All right, Daniel, Jim, Michael. All right, well, welcome to the show. Let me get my collar all straightened out. All right, let's just get this thing going. A lot of stuff happening out there already. The Denver Post is publishing despicable articles about Walker Stapleton and his supposed family ties to the Ku Klux Klan uh, back in the day, and it's like, really, you don't like the guy because he's not a Democrat, so you have to smear him with the baloney that happened almost a century ago. And you know, if Polis becomes the governor of Colorado, we will end up like California, where the poverty rate in California, it has risen dramatically there. The standard of living in California has really gone down. It's gotten to a point where there's no middle class. The middle class is moving out of the state because it's becoming too expensive to live in California. And all you're going to end up with are the very rich and the very poor. I mean, just look in Los Angeles and San Francisco. You see these tent villages where homeless people are living. They've allowed it to where people could poop and urinate in public. So they've got that health issue going on right there. So that's what's going on in California. They're spending what it started off being $1 billion for this high-speed train, and now the cost of the train has risen dramatically. And also, now we're finding out how much it would cost for universal health care. I've heard some estimates saying that, I mean, if we were to cover the whole United States, it would cost us $34 trillion in the next 10 years. Our budget, I think, is just over 12 trillion right now. And the only reason it's risen that much is because we have to rebuild the military because 8 years of Obama, which neglected our military, and we've become weak. And that's what happened. And then you have this idiot out of New York City area who defeated an incumbent uh, congressman. I think her name is Ocasio Ortiz, whatever her name is, and she is a plain idiot. Doesn't know what she's doing. Doesn't know anything about the history and the conflicts in Israel. So that's what's happening there. She doesn't has no idea about economics. Now Elizabeth Warren, she wants to nationalize everything. I mean, if socialism was so great, then Venezuela ought to be a paradise right now. All right, we have Peter Yu and Debbie and John Bussey and Dennis Lisby joining the show. I hope the video is not too choppy for you guys. Trying out something a little different here. Let me check what's going on YouTube. It's about the same. Nobody's watching but my okay, so let's get back to you guys. You're probably wondering, hey Art, why are you dressed up? What's with the duds? Well, later today I'm going to a barbecue at the Foothills Republican Club, and they have a special guest of which is Floyd Cerulli, the pollster. So that's going to be an interesting event. From what I heard from Rick Enstrom, he's the guy running this whole shindig. He said about 100 people are going to be there, and that's a pretty big crowd for this event. I've been to a couple other events at Foothill Republican, and they've had quite a good group, and I'm wondering if maybe candidate Walker Stapleton will be there. The last one that I went to, I saw Lang Sias. Johnny is in. Hey, welcome, Johnny. Good to see you. What's going on in the political world over there in Arizona, Johnny? I sort of keep up with who's running in Arizona, and I know somebody else is running for Senate there because I think uh, their candidate decided not to run. I know in Utah, Mitt Romney is the Republican running for Senate in Utah after Orrin Hatch retired. So getting back to the Foothills Republican, last time I went, several candidates in the Jeffco area were there. I saw, and this was before the primary, so Frank Francone was there, and I don't think his opponent was there. Uh, Larson, he wasn't there. But Larson ended up winning that primary, which is good. Who else? There were, Tony Sanchez. So it should be a lot of other candidates that are there. And it's a fundraiser for the Foothills Republican. Rick is the director of the Independent Expenditure Committee. So they raise a lot of money for commercials and to help candidates. So they do a good thing. They raise a ton of money over there, which is good. Rick is doing a really good job at that. All right, Johnny is going to be at Pikes Peak International Raceway emceeing in his show next Saturday. Cool. Hopefully, let's get together when you're in town. Let me know, and I'll try to get a hold of you. Cool. Johnny and I, we go way back about 30 years. He was the lead singer in several local bands here in the Denver area. Starting off with, I think I met him when he was in Mercedes, and that band broke up and reformed, and they became G-Force, and then they had to change their band name because it turns out there was another band that was about to be signed using the same name, so they changed their name to Autobahn, and I used to call them Autobahn Jovi, just to kid around with those guys. But these guys were really good. They were like one of the number one bands at in Denver, and I always saw them play at a, a place in Glendale, Colorado, called Bangles, which was one of the hottest rock clubs in the state and in the region. Every time bands would play, I mean, big bands, it would play at McNichols or one of the nearby venues. They would come down to Bangles either after their show or the day before their show. And that's how I met Angus Young from AC/DC. And I met other bands too, Mr. Big, King's X. God. Lynch Mob. I mean, a whole bunch of big bands. Kip Winger, his band played there once. Okay, so let's get back to politics. So, you're probably wondering, where have you been? Well, one week I went fishing with Rick Enstrom out at Bear Creek Lake and caught some nice walleye out of there. Hey, Lisa, thanks for joining. Uh, Speaking of fishing, Lisa caught a lunker walleye earlier this year out at Pueblo Reservoir. Huge fish. And now she's living in New Jersey, which is her home state. So uh, we miss you, Lisa. Uh, so I went. Martha McSally, okay. Was is she running for Senate or Congress, Johnny? So I was off that week, and okay. Well, thanks, Johnny. I It's great to hear from you. Let's get together when you're down this way. I'll definitely come down to Pikes Peak, and we'll kind of hang out, and uh, we'll talk then. Uh, the reason I wasn't here last week was earlier in the day I took my drone out. I went to one of my favorite fishing spots on Big Dry Creek because what I wanted to do is I wanted to show you, or my drone enthusiasts, what the place looked like, because I had gone out there earlier in the year, flown around, but this was before everything started turning green, so it was still brown, and no trees, no leaves on the trees. So it was early in the spring. It was a nice warm day. So I wanted to do a late summer video to show you all the green and stuff. Well, I was having problems with the launch, and it turns out I was getting Wi-Fi interference from one of my cameras, because I was using that camera to kind of shoot out where the drone was going to be flying. And I think that was causing an interference with the remote control with the crap. Finally got it going. Got it out there, got some really cool shots. You always gotta keep an eye on where your craft is at all times. So I got a shot at this one spot, and I went to take a shot at another spot, and I started getting a beep from remote control saying low power, returning to home. So what had happened was it started coming to home, and it hit something, and I lost signal. It was done. It was like, and I'm like going, oh crap, I I lost my drone. So I went out there with some friends of mine. Keith Peterson was nice enough to help me out. He brought us two young boys, and we looked all over the place. Could not find it. Well, a friend of mine from Australia told me about an app that's on the DJI Go app that will tell you, it'll show you the flight path, and and it's like a video, and you get speeded up, and I sped it up to, to the end and watched, and I So now I know where it is, but the problem is there's a lot of trees, a lot of trees and bushes there. There's Russian olive trees there, so if it landed in a tree, I mean, it's invisible. The only way I can find it is if I have another drone out and fly in that area and see if they can spot it. And it rained last night. I mean, it really rained. And then it rained, I think, last Tuesday. So I don't know how it fared with the water. I just hope the SD card is still good when I find it. So, welcome Jerry Natividad, Charlie Stewart, Mike Jones. Thank you for joining the show. I'm going to go quickly over to, and no watchers on my YouTube. I don't know why I keep doing that. I think I have two shows I do. Wednesday nights, if you want, go to my YouTube channel called Artco Drone Solutions, and I do a live show, and it'll be much better than this because I just do a direct feed, and it's not choppy like this. So I'm using this software called OBS, and it's a studio software where I could be on multiple platforms when I do a show, but for some reason it is using up a lot of bandwidth, and it looks like I'm getting chopped up video. So this is going to be kind of a short show today. We'll talk about what happened down in New Mexico at that compound. I mean, that is just scary. And how that judge could just let those people go on bail. They're not coming back. Those those people are gone. They'll never show up. What? I mean, it's like these detainees, these illegals that we catch. They go to court, never to be seen again. And it just, it makes me mad when they do stuff like this. And then it turns out that that compound has been destroyed. Why? I don't know. Maybe they were looking around for other evidence or something. I mean, it just amazes me the stuff that I'm learning more and more about this compound where this guy is training young children to be assassins to go shoot up schools. And then they found the body of a 3-year-old of the uh, the leader of the compound. It's his son, and they found his body, and it's amazing what was going on out there. And then there's Keith Ellison, who's running for Attorney General in Minnesota. I don't think he's going to win. Well, he'll win the primary, but I think he's going to be defeated, or he will be removed from the ballot, or somebody's going to have to replace because there have been videos, or a video has come out showing him in a domestic violence incident, and it's like this guy's a scumbag, and hope he doesn't get elected, and Minnesota's smart enough that they could elect a Republican attorney general. And speaking of attorney general, the Democrat running for attorney general here in Colorado is doing all these fundraisers, but they're out of state. He's not doing any fundraising or very little here in Colorado. I think his name is Weiser is his name, and George Brockler is the Republican challenger. And I think George has a very good shot at winning this. And this will be interesting question that I will ask Floyd Cirilli about the Attorney General's race. And I will ask him about some of the other races for uh, Congress and some of the state and house races and all that stuff. So it'll be interesting to talk to Floyd about that and see what the polls show on that. And it'll be interesting to see what the polls are for Walker Stapleton and Jared Polis. There have been some videos that have surfaced where Polis is acting like a maniac in Congress. And we don't need a governor that acts like that. I mean, it's he can say, well, Donald Trump acts badly. Yeah, but he doesn't do it on the job like you did. I mean, it's basically his tweets that are kind of out there. Oh, and then let's talk about that. Let's talk about the Omarosa. What was wrong with you, Donald? Why did you hire this woman? You knew she was a snake way back when she was on your show, The Apprentice. I think the only reason he hired her was to show the people, hey, we've got black people here. How about we have people with good character uh, on in your administration? It just boggled my. I mean, when he hired her, I had a feeling that it was not going to end well, and that had disaster written all over it. Now it's just another thing that liberals are using to bash Donald Trump over the head with. Oh, how about that stupid comment by Governor Cuomo of New York saying America was never that great. Well, if it's been never been that great, then why did your grandparents come here? Why don't you go back to Italy and tell us, hey, how's it over there? And when you get back there, you're going to find out how screwed up it is in Italy. It's a great place to visit, but wouldn't want to live there because their unemployment is still high there. You've got you got corruption like you can't believe. It just makes me mad. Some of these idiot governors, they don't like the president, so they gotta bash him in the media. Yeah, Bradley, I agree with you. Zelia Sitz is here. All right, we got someone from Brazil watching. That's good. That's good. Uh, I don't speak Portuguese. I speak a little Spanish, so the closest thing I could say is uh, Buenos dias. I don't know what the equivalent is in Portuguese, so. But welcome to the show, Zelia. Uh, oh, and then I've been seeing this meme going around on Facebook about Pope Francis saying, if you own guns, you're not a real Christian. This guy, he is the worst Pope I've ever seen. I mean, he's almost as bad as the ones that were in power during World War II, where they kind of kept it quiet. They didn't bash Hitler or Mussolini because, well, they wanted to keep their uh, their seat in the Vatican. Otherwise, if they would have gone off on Hitler and Mussolini, it would have been bye bye Vatican. But Pope Francis, God, he is the total opposite of John Paul II. Now that guy, that was the Pope. I mean, that guy was all about freedom and equality and opportunity. Uh, Totally different than Francis, but you gotta think Pope Francis is from Austria, or not Austria, Argentina, and who did the Argentinians support it? They had a lot of ex-Nazis that escaped and they immigrated to Argentina. I mean, that's where Mengele and Eichmann ended up. Uh, Mengele ended up in Brazil and he was never brought to trial. He died in Brazil. Eichmann, they caught him. I think they caught him in Brazil, if I'm not mistaken, but they brought him back. Argentina has really close ties to Nazi Germany, and plus the Jesuit Catholics. They are a very liberal bunch. They espouse that liberal theology. Yeah, and boy, I don't know how you can remove a pope. I mean, those cardinals, they need to do something. They need to go to him and say, you know what, you need to step down. You're making us look bad. I mean, everything he espouses is not only anti-freedom and anti-liberty, but it's also anti-Catholic. And so don't get me started on that. That's just one of many things that are going on here in Colorado. That I've been seeing this thing. Oh, the education people. They're always wanting more and more money. I thought that was what the lotto was for. I thought that's what legalized pot was for, to help schools. And then they want more money. It's like, well, maybe why don't you do a little budgeting and look at where your overhead is? I bet you most of that overhead is in administration. I mean, if you got rid of some of that dead weight, I bet you most of it is administration that's in the union that you're paying for. And these people, they got it in their head, well, we need more money. Let's go to the people. Let's ask for another tax rate increase. And it's just crazy. You just can't do that. It just won't work. Keep, keep and that's why we don't have the money to fix our damn roads. Because now the state budget, almost half of it goes to education. And very little of it, maybe less than a quarter, goes to roads and bridges. Back in the 80s when I came here, education was less than 1/3 of the budget. We had plenty of money for roads and bridges. And now that we got these feel good liberals, they're in the back pockets of the teachers' union. So they keep saying, well, we got to do this, we got to give more money to schools. No, why don't you learn to make do with what you got like the rest of us? It makes no sense to me. So we've been on for do, 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 do. Oh, excuse me, folks. Oh. Okay, so let's go to some drone news, and then we'll close out this fun-filled show. Uh, I like to watch Ken Heron's live show on Thursday nights, and turns out over in England, the BBC have this hospital show, and they show this young kid, probably around 10, 11, 12, flying a drone. The drone gets up there and it hits the tail rotor on a Flight for Life helicopter, and it takes out the rotor, and the helicopter makes a crash landing at the hospital, but it causes this whole chain events of tragedy where parts of the helicopter flying off and hitting people and knocking over this big thing that has uh, containers full of paint and solvents, and it's just a horrific scene. I have it posted on my Facebook page if you want to check it out. Yeah, I mean, it's really something that I captioned by saying, drone flyers, be aware of your no-fly zones. There's an app that you get, and I have it on my phone, of a place that has airspace restriction. And Denver has a lot of restrictions, especially downtown, where you have heliports. There's a heliport over at Denver General, which is not far from where I work. So I gotta be careful flying there. And I am not sure, but I think the capital might be a no-fly zone there as well. But yeah, so if you're going to fly a drone, beware. So, and I'm hoping that I will be back to flying in a week or so. So I've got things in the fire that are working. So we'll see what happens. Another question about drone flying is flying at night. Well, you can fly at night as a hobbyist, but if you do have any video footage, you cannot make money off it because then you would need to be a certified drone operator with the FAA, and that restricts you from flying at night. Now, you can fly 1/2 hour after sunset and 1/2 hour before sunrise. Now, I saw a photograph on the Colorado Drone Club Facebook page. Somebody took a photograph of the fireworks going off on the 4th of July, and I thought, hey, that was very neat. But if he made any money off of that, he would be in big trouble because then you have to be a certified drone flyer, and then he'd be in trouble. Alrighty. And here's the other thing. You can be a hobbyist and a licensed operator at the same time, which is interesting. So that clears up a lot of stuff. So that just really, excuse me, my nose is running a little bit, so. And so that's what's going on with me. And that's just a little bit of drone news. Drones are being used to help save lives, find missing people, and stuff like that. So that is going to be it, folks. Doesn't look like my video feed is doing very well, so rather than torture you with this bad feed, let's get going, and I will get ready to go to this shindig. So I'll give you some uh, information on what happened at the barbecue today with Floyd Cerulli. So see you next week. Have a great day. Oh, God bless you, and God bless the people of Colorado. Goodbye. do, do, do.